Well, the Festival of Lights is here, and here's wishing everyone a very happy, prosperous, safe Diwali. I'm Shireen Bhan, and from all of us here at CNBC-TV18, thanks very much for tuning in to us as we usher in a new Samvat. Hello and welcome to Business 360. Here are the top stories that we're tracking for you this evening.
3, 2, 1.
The Sensex and the Nifty hit a 52-week high as Samvat 2081 ends. The Nifty is up 4% this year, even as many other emerging and developed markets clocked double-digit returns. Precious metals dazzled this Diwali, outperforming every other asset class. Gold and platinum prices are 60% higher, while silver prices surge by 80%. President Trump says India will continue to pay massive tariffs if it continues to buy oil from Russia. Claims once again that Prime Minister Modi has promised not to buy Russian oil. China's economy expands at 4.8% in Q3, the slowest pace of growth in a year, but Beijing maintains it can achieve the full-year growth target of 5%. The Chinese Communist Party kicks off its annual meeting where President Xi is likely to outline the growth roadmap for the next 5 years amidst trade tensions with the US. Shares of RBL Bank rally after Middle East banking powerhouse Emirates NBD announces a landmark 27,000 crore rupee deal to buy 60% stake. This is the largest foreign direct investment in India's financial sector. This is also the first time a foreign bank is acquiring a majority stake in a profitable Indian bank. Large private banks deliver in Q2. ICICI and HDFC Bank meet expectations even as margins come under pressure. Smaller private banks report some improvement in margins as credit cost declines. Tata Trusts likely to renew the terms of 2 trustees at the Sir Dorabji Tata Trust. Sources close to the Tata Group say the proposal circulated to extend the terms of Venu Srinivasan and Mehli Mistry. All trustees need to sign off on the renewal by the 23rd of October. At least 97 Palestinians killed in Gaza since the ceasefire took effect. Israel and Hamas accuse each other of violating the truce. President Trump says the ceasefire is still on. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner arrive in Israel. A major outage at Amazon Web Services takes down several online services, including Amazon, Alexa, Snapchat, Roblox, Fortnite, Perplexity and others. The cause of the outage is currently unclear. Well, let's start with the day's market action. The Lal Street ending higher with the Sensex and the Nifty nearly hitting a one-year high. The Nifty crossed the 25,900 mark intraday and it closed strong for Samvat 2081. So 0.5% higher on the Nifty. The Sensex, similar story. The mid-cap index also not doing badly at all, fueled by strong private bank earnings that we saw come in over the weekend. And that's the market for us. It's up 4%, even as many other emerging and developed markets have clocked double-digit returns for the year. Surabhi standing by now to take us through the market action. Surabhi, it's the close of Samvat 2081 and all set for the new year.
Well, Samvat 2081 has drawn to a close and it has taught investors a very, very important lesson in equity investing. And that is the lesson of patience, the virtue of patience. And as we get ready to welcome the new Samvat, the question is, will the rewards of this patience actually come through in Samvat 2082? Well, that is exactly the positioning and the thought that the market is taking right now. We've ended the Samvat on a fairly optimistic and positive note, with a lot of experts in the market saying that perhaps this consolidation phase that we've been in over the last 1.5 years, it's perhaps coming to an end. So let's come and look at the numbers first. So the year that's closed out, the Nifty managed a gain of just under 4%. The mid-cap index was absolutely flat. The small-cap index slightly lower, actually, falling about 4.5%. If you look at individual stocks, there was a fair amount of pain. Time correction, if not price correction, really playing out. However, if you look at the sectoral spread, I'll just pick out the best and the worst performing sectors. The worst performing sector, IT, and we all know why, directly exposed to the US. A lot of issues out there. Aside of H-1B visas, aside of all the rhetoric that we're getting from the US administration, just lack of growth, low single-digit growth posted by most of the large IT services companies. So down 18% on the Nifty IT. On the other side, the Samvat that's closed out brought about a brand new sector to invest in, and that was the defense space. The Nifty Defense Index actually ending with gains of about 25%. And again, a near consensus in the market that levels may vary, there might be volatility, but it's a sector that's here to stay. And that was the new investment theme thrown up by the Samvat that's closed out. Now, what were the issues? Why did we have this sort of a lackluster one-year range-bound move? Well, quickly to wrap it up, of course, we had the India-US trade war. The fact that after Liberation Day, we were not the first in line to get the deal as was initially anticipated. We had the India-Pakistan war. We had, of course, this relentless global AI trade that is showing no signs of abating, at least as yet. And that's where the money was literally going. Then we had, of course, FPI selling because India did not have a deep tech or an AI straight-up offer to give to the foreign investors. And therefore, the foreign money was going elsewhere in a lot of the other regional markets in our neighborhood. And then, of course, elevated valuations was a point of concern. However, the tide has started turning in October, and as we, celebrate Diwali, the festive cheer is really apparent, and it's more than just the festive spirit. Let's look at the numbers again. Month to date in October, the Nifty is up 5%, the mid-cap index is up 5%, and even the small-cap index has shown a sparkle of about 3.5%.
So, many thanks for joining us. That's Samvat 2081. It is behind us. What can we expect in the new year? Listen in to top market experts with their bets for the way forward.
India has done very badly this year relative to peers, emerging market benchmarks. So over 5 years, India has still done better than EM and China and all. Maybe only US has done better. But this year, India has had its worst relative performance in 30 years.
The market started originally with PSUs in defense and railways and all. This bull market by no means is over.
Right.
I think the PSUs took a backseat.
Right.
If they privatize, for example, or sell big stakes, why are they holding on to NALCO or SAIL and the others? So PSUs generally are beaten down, neglected, other than the defense and all, which are, of course, doing fantastically well.
My premise is based on very fundamental thing that all the noise about this gold and silver price is all technical in nature. There is nothing fundamental about it.
बैंक्स ही लीड करेंगे क्योंकि बैंक्स के स्टॉक्स अभी भी सस्ते हैं और काफ़ी अर्निंग्स ग्रोथ आने वाला है। जो पिछला क्वार्टर था वो तो एक्चुअली ख़राब क्वार्टर होना चाहिए था। उस ख़राब क्वार्टर में भी बैंक्स ने अच्छी अर्निंग्स दिए हैं।
Well, market voices there. One sector that has dazzled: metals. This Diwali, gold and platinum prices are 60% higher. Silver prices have surged by 80%. Manisha is standing by. She's had a busy last couple of weeks. Manisha.
Well, the Samvat gone by clearly belong to precious metals, which performed the best within the segment and as related to other asset classes as well. Gold and silver prices hit all-time highs, and we saw strong gains come in for various other precious metals as well. Well, this is because of the weakness in US dollar index, which is down between 8 to 10% in this year. The global economic uncertainty given the wars, geopolitics and tariff concerns as well. The slowdown, the Western debt also led to a lot of buying in tangible commodities, where gold and silver clearly took the best of the gains there. And then you had strong central bank buying, institutional buying, ETFs were surging as well. So everywhere that you saw, the money seemed to be rotating within precious metals. So when you look at the past year, we've seen gold prices gain up by 60%, silver is up 80%, and you have platinum prices almost 60% of gains therein as well. And the next chart shows you on what we've done in sense of Diwali to Diwali in last 1 year for many years now. And as you see those gains coming in from 2021 itself for the gold prices, but as you can see, every year we've seen gains kind of double up. If you look at the last 2 years, gold prices have doubled up in prices there. The next one is silver on your screens. And when you look at silver prices, well, we have seen silver prices double up in the matter of one last year itself. So last year during Diwali, we were trading at 94,000 rupees. We've seen silver prices hit 1,70,000 rupees as well in the previous week itself. So very, very strong gains coming in for this one. What has closed the year in negative has been the energy prices. So crude is down 18%, coal is down 29%. But the other metals also have done well. So palladium is up 41% in last 1 year. Copper is gained up by 15%. Aluminum up 6%. Not so much great gains for zinc, which has seen a 4% of a decline in the previous year.
Well, look at that rally in gold and silver. Manisha, many thanks for joining us. Now, President Trump has reiterated his claim that India has agreed to stop buying Russian oil for the second time in 5 days. Speaking to reporters on Air Force One, Trump said that Prime Minister Modi has assured him that India is not going to be buying more Russian oil. India's foreign ministry had said it was not aware of any telephone conversation between Prime Minister Modi and President Trump. When asked about this, Trump said, and I quote, "If they want to say that, then they'll just continue to pay massive tariffs."
I spoke with Prime Minister Modi of India, and he said he's not going to be doing the Russian oil thing, so that's it.
But why would India say that they're not going to do?
I don't know, but if they want to say that, then they'll just continue to pay massive tariffs, and they don't want to do that.
Well, that's President Trump reiterating his claim. And speaking of President Trump, the U.S. president has said that he is willing to lower tariffs for China if the government is willing to, and I quote, "do things for the U.S." Now, these things will include buying soybean from the U.S. and halting curbs on rare earth minerals. Speaking to reporters, Trump said, and I quote, "They have a very good relationship with President Xi of China. We're having disputes on things. They're paying us a tremendous amount of money in tariffs, and they would probably like to be less. And we'll work on that, but they have to give us some things too." End of quote. The statement comes after Trump announced a 100% tariff on China, which he himself later said was unsustainable. Now, China's economic growth slowing to a one-year low of 4.8%. That's the number for Q3. It's in line with expectations. Retail sales, fixed asset investment weakened. However, industrial output has seen an unexpected uptake. Beijing has said that the country is still on track to achieve the government's full-year growth target of around 5%. But the big corporate story, it is the biggest investment by a foreign financial institution into the Indian banking sector. Middle Eastern banking giant Emirates NBD will acquire a majority stake in RBL Bank for nearly 27,000 crore rupees. This is the single largest foreign direct investment in India's financial services sector and also marks the first acquisition of majority interest in a profitable Indian bank by a foreign bank. Let's quickly take you through the contours of this deal, which of course is subject to regulatory approvals. Now, Emirates NBD is looking to buy up to 60% stake in RBL Bank. The proposed investment will be via the preferential issue route at 280 rupees a share. The RBL board has approved the allotment of around 96 crore new shares. RBL Bank will seek shareholders' approval at an EGM on the 12th of November. Emirates NBD will also launch a mandatory open offer, and that is how it gets majority control. Take a look.
I feel that with the current trending and the core value which we are likely to create with this deal, I don't think that the people will be looking at responding to the open offer, because it is going to be something which co-creation of the value. And this huge investment which is coming into the bank will also improve the book value also. When the book value moves up, this is something which is going to add up to your market value. Market cap will go up. So taking all these considerations, I feel, this open offer may not kick in much of the numbers, and it will be hovering around 60 plus the branch merger, whatever the percentage is going to come. Immediately it is going to be the RBL to start with, and we have to wait for the things to evolve rather than taking a preemptive thought in that.
Well, that's RBL Bank on the big deal with Emirates NBD. Here's a CNBC-TV18 exclusive. Tata Trusts has issued a circular seeking the renewal of Venu Srinivasan's term as a trustee of the Sardar Tata Trust. Sources also say that all trustees have to give their approval for the renewal before the 23rd of October. Srinivasan serves as a trustee in both Tata Trusts, is also a nominee director on the board of Tata Sons. Sources also say Mehli Mistri's term is likely to come up for renewal soon. Once approved, these appointments grant lifetime tenure. This comes amidst the alleged rift within the Tata Trust. Remember, Sir Dorabji Tata Trust and Sir Ratan Tata Trust are the two trusts that hold 51% stake in Tata Sons. The union government believes the latest GST cuts are being passed on to the consumer and will give a significant boost to consumption, which may rise by as much as 10% this year. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal and IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav addressed a joint press conference over the weekend. The Finance Minister said they were closely monitoring 54 items and there is not even one item where the government believes the tax cut has not been passed on.
Item by item, I'm here to tell you that that which is weighted average of the reduction which should have gone to the consumer is going, and more is also being passed on. So there is a remarkable impact of this set of new GST rate reductions that have happened, and every item that I've monitored which is of relevance for day-to-day life of common citizens, 54, and we still continue to monitor them, the rate has been, the benefit has been passed on to the consumers.
Well, that's the Finance Minister on the impact of the GST cuts. We'll end to a break, but up next, a 38-year-old engineer working with Ola Electric has allegedly died by suicide. An FIR has been filed naming CEO Bhavish Agarwal after a complaint from the family. Details when we return. The big national story, Lalu Prasad Yadav-led Rashtriya Janata Dal has released its list of 143 candidates for the upcoming Bihar Assembly elections. RJD leader and former Deputy Chief Minister Tejasvi Yadav will contest from the Raghopur Assembly seat facing BJP Satish Kumar Yadav. 24 women candidates have been given seats, including Veena Devi, the wife of former MP Suraj Bhan, who's barred from contesting due to his conviction in a criminal case. RJD's total seats are one less than the 2020 Assembly elections, while Congress has fielded 60 candidates. A formal seat-sharing deal has not been announced. Meanwhile, the Jan Shakti Janata Dal chief and Lalu Prasad's eldest son, Tej Pratap Yadav, has been booked for allegedly violating the Model Code of Conduct during the filing of his nomination papers from Mahua. Air pollution in the capital continues to worsen, with the air quality index entering the very poor category. The government has imposed the stage 2 of graded response action plan across the national capital. Experts warn that Diwali firecrackers could push pollution levels even higher in the coming days. Prime Minister Modi celebrated Diwali with the Navy personnel on board the INS Vikrant off the coast of Goa and Karnataka. The Prime Minister celebrated the valour of the armed forces during Operation Sindoor. He spent a night on INS Vikrant. A 38-year-old engineer working with Ola Electric has allegedly died by suicide. An FIR has now been filed naming CEO Bhavish Agarwal after a complaint from the family. Now, Ola Electric has moved the Karnataka High Court, challenging the basis of the FIR. Rachna is standing by with the details. Rachna, what has happened here? Take us through what the police is investigating.
Well, Ola Electric's chief executive Bhavish Agarwal has been named in an FIR after a 38-year-old engineer allegedly died by suicide. He has been named along with one more official of the company, Suprit Kumar Das, who, according to his LinkedIn, heads vehicle homologations and regulations at Ola Electric. Now, K. Arvind, who had been employed with Ola Electric since 2022, was found dead at his Bengaluru residence on the 28th of September. Investigators say a 28-page note was recovered from the spot, and the note refers to mental stress and blames company executives, including the CEO. The document is now a part of the police evidence and its contents are being verified. The complaint filed by his brother and father alleges that Arvind had faced sustained workplace pressure and humiliation while working at Ola Electric's head office in Koramangala in Bengaluru. Now, the FIR also records that 2 days after Arvind's death on the 30th of September, a payment of about 17.5 lakh rupees was made through NEFT from an Ola Electric account to his bank account. That transaction and whether it was routine or an attempt to settle dues posthumously is under investigation. The case has been registered under Section 108 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, which deals with the abetment of suicide. Police say the investigation will focus on establishing causation, verifying the handwritten note and electronic communication, and tracing financial and managerial responsibility. Ola Electric issued a statement saying it is cooperating with authorities and has questioned the basis of the FIR, maintaining that there were no prior complaints against the executives named. But this is the second death by suicide linked to an Ola Group company in just about 6 months. In May, we saw a 25-year-old machine learning engineer who worked at Ola Krutrim die by suicide. The now he was also found dead in his Bengaluru house, where the family similarly and his former colleagues alleged that he died because of work-related stress.
Rachna, many thanks for joining us. That is the latest, the matter under investigation. Now, the big international story: authorities in Gaza are claiming Israeli forces have killed at least 97 Palestinians, wounded 230 people since the start of the ceasefire. They allege ceasefire has been violated 80 times. The Israeli military claimed 2 soldiers were attacked, which prompted a wave of airstrikes. Meanwhile, President Trump has said the ceasefire in Gaza is still in effect. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and the president's son-in-law Jared Kushner have arrived in Israel to oversee the ceasefire agreement. 2 people killed in Hong Kong after a cargo plane skid off the runway and hit a security staff patrol vehicle before ploughing into the sea. Police said that the 4 crew members on board escaped uninjured. The Boeing 747-481 was operated by Turkish carrier Air Act and was arriving from Dubai. Staying with aviation, 2 incidents of a fire inside flights has sparked concerns over the weekend. One incident happened on an Indigo flight and another on an Air China flight. Power banks carried by passengers appear to have caused the fire. Madiha is here with the details. Madiha, what's going on?
Well, 2 flights saw incidents of fire inside the cabin in 2 days, and there was one common cause: batteries on board. On October 19, an Indigo flight from Delhi to Dimapur had to return to the bay after a passenger's electronic device caught fire right inside the seat pocket. The crew reacted instantly, followed safety SOPs, and the situation was brought under control within seconds. Everyone was safe. Passengers were even served refreshments while the checks were done. A day earlier, on October 18, an Air China flight from Hangzhou to Seoul had a terrifying moment mid-air. A lithium battery caught fire in the overhead bin, forcing the plane to divert to Shanghai. Passengers panicked, but the crew's quick action prevented a potential mid-air disaster. All passengers were safely evacuated. Lithium batteries, found in phones, laptops, power banks can overheat or spontaneously combust if damaged or short-circuited, and that's why batteries are banned in checked luggage, because they can catch fire unseen. And this was decided back in 2016 after a series of cargo fires were seen, and when aviation regulators worldwide banned lithium batteries from checked-in baggage. So airlines tell you to carry them in the cabin where at least the crew can respond and contain the fire. But the problem now is when they start catching fire here too. So the FAA has logged dozens of such fires this year alone, from the phones, laptops, e-cigarettes, power banks, which are all perfectly legal to carry on board. Now it raises a tough question: if the cargo hold isn't safe and now even the cabin isn't risk-free, where do passengers really keep their batteries?
Well, that's the question, but, fortunately, both those incidents are not ending in anything catastrophic. Madiha, many thanks for joining us. The Louvre Museum in Paris has been closed after a heist. The French Interior Ministry said that a number of people broke into the Apollo Gallery through a mechanized lift and took jewels, adding that the items that were stolen are of incalculable value. Officials said the thieves were carrying small chainsaws and escaped on a scooter. No injuries were reported, and investigation is underway. Well, with that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of Business 360. The news will continue on CNBC-TV18. Of course, stay tuned. Even though it is Diwali and it's being celebrated in large parts of India today, we are, of course, going to be working, and we'll bring you all the more trading action tomorrow. From all of us, thanks very much for watching, and again, a happy Diwali.